It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Georgia State head softball coach, Roger Kincaid. How are you doing today?
Doing well, Brandon. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you got started in college coaching?
Yeah, I actually it was kind of a weird story. My daughter played softball, so I actually started coaching her when she was very young and kind of worked my way through the process of, rec ball, travel ball, high school ball, and then decided that, I want to try college ball. Put out some feelers here locally, in the state of Georgia, and was fortunate enough to have an opportunity to come to Georgia State originally as a volunteer coach. And before I ever started, they had an opening on staff. So I was actually hired as a full-time assistant my first 2 years in college ball. So my story, Brandon, is a little bit unique. Just happened to be in the right time at the right place. And, I got lucky, to be quite honest with you. But, it's something I had a passion for, and I think that showed. And that's one of the reasons I got the opportunity.
Can you talk about, did you ever get under coaching jobs besides Georgia State, or was that the only job
No,
for you?
Georgia State is the only job I've had, as far as college. Like I said, I coached travel ball for a lot of years, and I've coached a lot of different sports too. Previously to my daughter starting softball and being born, I coached football, I've coached basketball, I've coached a little bit of baseball. But softball happened to be my passion. I actually played men's slow pitch, played a little men's fast pitch in my day. And, it was kind of became a passion of mine, obviously, because I had a daughter that played. So, and being a father of three daughters, 2 out of the 3 which played softball, that kind of made it a good fit for me. So, but like I said, being fortunate, Georgia State, I've been here for 13 years. It was my first opportunity, and this is where I'll retire from coaching to finish up my career, whenever that may be.
What are some things that you've accomplished so far at Georgia State?
Oh, goodness. There's been a lot of things that we've accomplished in the 13 years that I've been here. One of the things that I'm really proud about is, our graduation rate. First and foremost, student athletes need to graduate, and everybody that's ever come to the program since I've been here and stayed for 4 years has graduated. And that's awesome. We've had, a handful of people transfer out and graduate from other institutions, but every time that we've had somebody stay with the program for 4 years, they've graduated. I'm real proud about that. I'm also proud that I was able to coach and be fortunate enough to have on our team Ivy Drake, who was a 2-time All-American while she was here at Georgia State, the only All-American that we've ever had in softball. And probably should have been a 3-time All-American, but she did. She made it her freshman and her senior year, and should have gotten it one other year, but you know how that works. And then the other thing I'm proud of, we had a streak of, I think it was 12 years in a row that we won 30 plus games. So we've established ourselves as a really good program at the mid-major level that is not scared to play anybody at the major level. We have a really aggressive schedule and bring kids in, and we try to compete at the highest level we can compete at.
That's amazing on your winning streak. Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you have built?
Absolutely. We have a big belief in team. On the back of our shirts, we have big team, little me, and it's actually big team letters and a small me. And I actually stole that from my college days. My defensive coordinator, the great Irk Russell, he coined that phrase and when I was in college, and gave us T-shirts that said Team Me. And that's kind of the culture that I put in place when I got here. And basically what it means, Brandon, is the team is always bigger than the individual. So we try to cultivate that as far as being unselfish, making sure you're taking care of each other, cheering for each other, pulling for each other, and just being a family, not just a team. And, I tell my kids all the time, y'all might not like each other every single day because, you're going to get mad at each other. You're going to get mad at me and the coaches. But one thing we're going to do, we're going to love each other like a family. And that's part of that big team, little me concept. And we say it all the time, the team's bigger than yourself. So that's kind of what we go by, big team, little me.
Can you talk about, of course, I saw that you played college football with Georgia Bulldogs with Vince Dooley. Can you talk about that and what that was like?
Absolutely. I was there in the 80s, which was a great time to be there. Was fortunate to be a member of the 1980 National Championship team. So, got a nice ring for that, and was able to play with, some people like Herschel Walker and Buck Ballou and Frank Ross and just some really talented players. I was on the scout team. So, I was one of those guys that did the grunt work. You won't read my name in the paper. I'm not in any record books, but I went to work every single day to try to make the team better. And I think that's where my coaching philosophy was born. But I was also fortunate enough to play for Coach Dooley, who set the foundation for not just my coaching style, but I think for my life. Coach Dooley was the kind of guy who was very organized, and he hired good people and he let them do their job. And when Coach Dooley spoke, you better listen because something good was going to happen or something bad was getting ready to happen, one or the other. But Coach Dooley was the kind of coach that the older you got, the more you appreciated his style. And then the second influence in my life was Irk Russell. He was the defensive coordinator, and I played defensive back. So I was exposed to him every single day. And he's an amazing individual that taught me a lot about life, a lot about how to handle people and situations and motivation. And, just a great all-around mentor. And then last but not least, my position coach was Bill Lewis, who we called him Mad Dog. His nickname was Mad Dog, and you can imagine why, because he was a scrappy, guy who would get after it at practice. And I think between him and Coach Russell, that's where I got my passion for. So I'm a very passionate person when it comes to sports. And I mean, I will tell you, Brandon, I would challenge anybody to have a better college experience than I did. It was awesome. And, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I've got relationships that date back to that time when I was there that are still alive today. And, I'm very appreciative of my time at the University of Georgia and my experience with those coaches.
That's so amazing. Can you talk about, of course, whenever you play Georgia, like in softball, what that rivalry is like?
Well, when I started here, we didn't play Georgia, believe it or not. The previous head coach wouldn't play them. So I think we started back up in 2012, I think. And we've played them every year since then, except for I think one year we got rained out and weren't able to play them. But, other than that, we pretty consistently played them. And we beat them 2 years in a row. And, just to tell you how things go, the first year we beat them, we were in Athens, and it was a good game. We beat them, and all my buddies at the University of Georgia that I knew, they came to the bus, they congratulated me and told me what a great job, how good it was to see me and all that. And then the next year we went back to Athens again and we beat them, and nobody showed up, Brandon. I think they were mad at me the second year. So, it's great to be able to play your alma mater. They got a great program, and it's kind of a measuring stick for us. I'm really good friends with Coach Lou down there and Coach Tony. I have a great relationship with them, but they have a great program, and it gives our kids the ability to measure, hey, here's where we are from a non-conference standpoint, because they're a great program, and there's some great competition that helps prepare us for later down the road. But I love playing in Athens. There's still people there that I know. They come see me. So it's a great deal for me.
Can you talk about, of course, the recruitment process and what that's like in Georgia with Georgia Bulldogs being so close?
Yeah, it is. Recruiting's tough in the state of Georgia. The good news is we have a great pool of talent here in the state of Georgia when it comes to softball. There's a lot of talented kids here in Georgia, and our philosophy at Georgia State is we're going to look in state first because we have the Hope Scholarship. which helps us to recruit kids that are good academically, and then we can add to that with athletic money. But we recruit kids that we want us to tell us no. We don't back away from anybody. If Georgia's recruiting them, we're going to go after them. If they tell us no, that's fine. We'll move to the next kid. But our philosophy is look in state first, and then if we don't find what we need, look out of state to try to fill those needs. If you look at our roster right now, we're 100% Georgia kids right now, and that's by design because of the Hope Scholarship. But it doesn't mean that we don't recruit out of state, because we do. We've had a lot of players out of state. I've got one commitment for the 22 class that's out of state. But we just have the philosophy that, hey, we're here in Georgia. We got the Hope Scholarship to help, and the talent is really, really good here. So we're going to cover this state up and try to get the best players that we can get that fit the best with our program.
Can you talk about, of course, what y'all plan to accomplish in this upcoming season, as COVID cut y'all short last season?
Yeah, it was terrible, Brandon, to have that gut punch when our season ended, and to have to stand in front of the kids and tell them that we weren't continuing our season. That was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. So when we were able to start back up in August when they returned to school, it was really good to be back in, something normal for the kids, because they've been through a lot. What our goals are for this year, first and foremost, is just to play games. I mean, we want to play games. What does that look like? I don't know. With the protocols and with the testing and everything that everybody's doing that we're having to go through, you're one phone call away from not being able to play a game because somebody tested positive, or your opponent had somebody that tested positive. So first and foremost, I would say our goal would be, to play games. That's what we want to do. Get in as many games as we possibly can. Secondly, we want to do well in the Sun Belt. Always want to try to win the conference championship. And then the third goal would be to get a NCAA postseason berth, either through the conference championship or an at-large bid. So that's kind of what we look at. We just try to get better every single day and play the best softball that we can play.
Can you talk about, of course, like with COVID and stuff, with people testing positive, are y'all able to still play like doubleheaders and like 3 games in a weekend?
Yeah,
Or is that cut short?
Yeah, no, we're right now we're scheduled to play. We still have Wednesday midweek games, okay, and then we have 3 days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for most weekends that we're playing on conference. Some of those are depending on where we're traveling to, or they're traveling to us. We might do a Friday, Saturday, or a Saturday, Sunday. The schedule's all over the map, Brandon. We've been really, really fortunate to get games scheduled, but we've had to be flexible too. And we're testing twice a week. We're testing on Mondays for a Wednesday game. We're testing on Thursdays for the weekend games. So our sports medicine staff, they're really the unsung heroes for all of our sports, really and truly, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. And, my hat goes off to them, and also to the kids. It just shows you how bad they want to play, that they're willing to do that, to be tested twice a week to make sure that, everybody's safe. And that's first and foremost of what we want to do, is make sure everybody's safe and everybody's healthy, and that we're not contributing to anything that's hurting anybody.
Can you talk about competing in the Sun Belt?
Absolutely. Sunbelt's a great softball conference. We've got a 10-team conference. It is really, really exciting softball. We got some great venues that we go play at, and we have a great venue here. It's just really good softball. I mean, if you look, we always have 1 or 2 teams ranked in the top 20 right now. The highest ranked Sunbelt team in the preseason is Louisiana Lafayette. They're ranked number 7. So that kind of tells you the talent that's in the Sun Belt. And, they do a great job over there, and they set the standard, and everybody else is chasing it. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. We're trying to meet that standard. So, but Sun Belt to me is outside of the P5 is probably the best, competition as far as a conference from top to bottom. And our goal every single year is to get multiple teams into the NCAA tournament. We don't know what that looks like this year, because, you don't know when they get down to it. In June, or late May. What's the tournament format going to be? Hopefully it's the same, and hopefully we'll be able to get multiple teams from the Sun Belt in, but that's the goal every year.
What is the recruitment process like for prospects?
Well, right now, Brandon, it's tough. I would hate to be a prospect right now because we're in a dead period and have been in a dead period for a long time because of COVID. So the last softball games that we were able to see live, if you can believe this, were the Georgia High School State Championships in the fall of 2019. Okay, so we've been in a dead period, and our dead period doesn't expire until April 31st unless the NCAA decides to extend it. So we are hopeful that when our season is over, that we'll be able to go out and recruit this summer, and that will help. But we have been doing a lot of video, scouting. We've been doing a lot of live stream, watching games, doing a lot of background checks on kids through coaches that we know, travel ball coaches, high school coaches. It's made it really difficult, Brandon. It's not normal, but what is normal in this day right now. So my hat goes off to the travel ball coaches, the high school coaches, parents, and players that are participating in the process, because I know it's tough on them. It's tough on us too, but they got to be patient, and they got to understand the process and just trust the process that everybody's going to end up where they're supposed to be, because in the long run, that's what we all want.
On an official visit for a prospect, what does that look like?
Well, an official visit is a visit where we can pay for the visit. We can actually have them in as a guest and pay for their visit. What we try to do at Georgia State is we try to bring them in groups. Most of the time, it's kids that are committed to us already, so that we can show them, what we do. Basically, on a weekend, we'll bring them in. We've done it several ways. We've done it on a football weekend. We've also done it on a basketball weekend when we're in season. But they usually come in on a Friday night. We will have a kind of a reception / meal for them, and then they will spend the night with one of our student athletes. They'll be assigned to host, and then we can go bowling. We've gone bowling. We've gone go-kart racing, a lot of different things to entertain them here locally. There's a lot to do in the city of Atlanta, so we kind of show them the city a little bit, and then let them get to know the team, come to a practice, hang out with the team so that they can figure out, what we do and how we do it. And then spend a little time with them, visiting, talking about roommates, talking about academics, and things like that. So it's a fun-filled weekend. There's a lot packed into it. Every time we have an official visit weekend, all the prospects tell me they leave here, they're just worn out because we do so much with them, and they really enjoy it. But obviously, with the dead periods, we haven't had any official visits or even unofficial visits, since February of 2020. So we haven't had any. And we won't until at least the earliest, the end of April.
Of course, on the official visit, do prospects to get to try on those jerseys behind you, the dark blue ones?
They do, and that's the new thing now. Everybody wants to take a photo in a uniform. So yes, we put them in a jersey. We let them take photos. Obviously, we can't publish them, but they can. So yes, that is a big deal. Trying on uniforms, posing for pictures, the whole 9 yards. So that's part of what we do, not just softball, but that's in all sports now. And they make graphics of themselves and post it, and it's a cool part about what we do, the social media aspect. Seeing the kids being proud of going on their visits and that kind of stuff. So that is absolutely a piece of what we do.
Can you talk about, of course, whenever you do make the graphics for them, whenever they do commit, how important is that for the culture of the program and to build the culture?
Well, it's kind of expected now, Brandon. It's one of those things where, used to nobody did it, and all of a sudden people started doing it, and now it's almost expected that you have somebody that's capable of doing it. Coach Aaron on our staff does it for us, and we obviously, per the rules, we can't publish anything. So it's up to the student athlete to do that. But I think it's important. It's an important piece of it. because we live in a social media world where they like to show off all that kind of stuff. And we're glad to oblige. We're glad to have them show off Georgia State because we're proud of our university and we're also proud of our program. So that's just another piece of the puzzle that we have to do as a recruiter.
That's amazing. What advice would you give upcoming high school athletes looking to play college?
Well, the biggest advice I would give them is to make sure they're high school is high school ball. You can't choose your team. You got to play for the team that you play for. So I would say if they're going to be in a serious contender for a scholarship in softball, they need to get on a really good travel ball team, and they need to play at the highest level against the best competition that they can play. And that's just the goal with the number of teams that are out there and the places that we have to be. We gravitate towards the teams that historically speaking have had the best athletes because we can't be everywhere at every game. So if you're playing on a team that has in the past a good reputation of playing good competition and sending athletes to college, that's what you need to do. You need to make sure you're on that team or those teams that can do that, and that you're just going to get exposure. So you just need to be seen by as many coaches as you want. And the other advice I would give them is figure out where you want to go geographically, figure out where you want to go academically, and hone in on those schools and make sure you're contacting those coaches and being adamant about contacting them, sending your information, sending your game schedules. Nowadays, it's sending your video links and your live stream game links so that we can watch games and look at video. But that's a piece of the puzzle that we've never had really, is the live streaming part.
Can you talk about, of course, do you see moving in the future there will be more live streams?
Oh, 100%. I don't think that's going away, even when COVID is gone, managed, whatever you want to use as a term, where we're able to deal with it in a more appropriate way than we are now because of the science, whatever. But no, I think the live streaming is here to stay. I think it's a big part of what we do. I think you'll see more and more high schools live streaming. And more travel ball tournaments live streaming so that coaches can actually watch games from wherever they're at. If I'm at a park watching a game and there's a kid playing in another tournament in another state, I could actually on my phone watch two games at one time. I mean, I could look at a live game I'm sitting at the field and look at my phone and live stream another game and watch that kid play. So no, I think it's a big piece of what we're going to do going forward. I'm not comfortable with 100% recruiting without laying eyes on the prospect because there's a lot that you can't see from a video. But I think it's a big piece going forward of our game and all sports, really.
What advice would you give upcoming college coaches looking to get into college softball?
Oh goodness, that's a big question. The biggest thing I could tell you to do is investigate where you want to be. Because it is a job and you need to enjoy where you're at, investigate the coaches that you're working with or working for, and look at their background because you want to be somewhere where you're going to enjoy it because we work a lot of hours and we do a lot of things that, a normal job, it is not a normal job, Brandon. It is far from it. So I'm a big believer in having fun. If you're not having fun, you're not going to get the most out of your employees and you're just not going to enjoy it. And that's not to say that, every day is a bed of roses. There are rough days, but make sure you're investigating where you're wanting to go and make sure geographically it fits for your life and your family and, that you're able to make a living. A lot of people take a job in college softball and they're not making a lot of money. They're not able to make a living and they get frustrated and they don't stick with it because they're not able to support themselves or their family. So you got to look at all of that. But just if somebody wants to be a college coach, I'm a perfect example. You don't have to start off when you're fresh out of college and be a college softball coach. There's a way to get in if you put your nose down and you figure out how to do it. And I'd be willing to help anybody who wants to give me a call, and I'll share my story because I'm a little bit unique, and I think I got a great story to share.
That's wonderful. Where can my listeners find you at on social media along with Georgia State Softball at?
Georgia State, we're at georgiastatesports.com. And I am on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I am GSU Coach Roger. And, just look me up, hit me up on Instagram, hit me up on Twitter. Go look at our sports website. All my info's on there as well. But, I love social media. I love interacting with people, but it's fun. You learn a lot when you start following people, to be honest with you, and they probably learn a lot about me.
Thank you again, Coach Rogers, for your interview, and best of luck in this upcoming season.
All right, Brandon, thank you. I appreciate you having me. Take care.
You're welcome. You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Rogers, for your interview, and best of luck.
Thank you. Take care. Stay healthy.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.